Welcome to the Create with Katrina Julia show by Fit Life Creation, where we talk all the things on wellness, faith, marketing, business, and travel to create a life and business you love. I've been there, friend. I've walked from fear to faith, self-hate to love, corporate to calling, and bondage to freedom, along with transformation in every area of my life. I'm right here with you, walking along on my own path to creating. So tune in so that you learn how to create a life and business you love, hands-on. Let's create it.
Welcome to Create It Like a Boss with me, your 7-minute snapshot. I get it. Finding ways to simplify and amplify ways to create it is not for the faint of heart. Craving, creating, community, and cash, I got you. This snapshot is on build your brand with influencers from A to Z. Let's hashtag create it with a snapshot. So first, how are you tracking your progress with pitches? If you're not tracking progress yet, how do you know you're making progress? So whether that's a dashboard on ClickUp, whether that is a scorecard in Excel, I track things in 2 different ways that way, and also share and teach others to create it too. You need to absolutely track it. And in the past week alone, I implemented something that is super exciting. So number 2, before that, you're going to hear more coming up about my Build Your Brand with Influencers webinar that is free. So the webinar is free. It gives you a preview into the course. If you don't want to wait for the upcoming episodes, definitely go to the link. And the very first link that you'll see in the link that's in the show notes is the 75 plus tools. And then if you click on over to freebies, you can scroll down until you see Build Your Brand with Influencers. And I believe it's also on the link. If not, we will add it likely. So number 2, what B2B tools are you using to build your brand with influencers? Friends, we live in a new age, literally. We live in the world of ChatGPT, AI, IO, which if you didn't know, that stands for input output. There's so many ways that you can create and scale your time right now. It's unreal. I'm using ChatGPT right now as an example and literally shaving off 10 to 20 hours of what used to, a week of what used to take for blog posts and emails. Because now the personalization is a short segment of my story and the show or the video. Or with IO tools, I'm doing things like taking one piece of content and distributing it 20, 30 plus times with me doing nothing. You hear me doing nothing. Stop. The thing I want to say to all creators and CEOs out there is stop overcomplicating and thinking that there's a human that has to upload to every single platform. No, with the IO tools that exist now, literally will change your life. Speaking of B2B tools, so what B2B tools are you using to reach out to brands targeted, whether it's via LinkedIn, whether it's on influencer marketing platforms? And speaking of, what platforms are you on for campaigns? You may have seen some of my recent emails on my influencer marketing book, but also beyond that, like I said, the Build Your Brand with Influencers webinar will help you dive into several different platforms that likely you are not on yet. Speaking of, number 3, what strategies do you have to create, to partner with influencers and brands? So for example, some of what I go through in my influencer management is, a strategy from A to Z on B2B to C, working with influencers that are 25,000 plus to literally scale and pitch brands on a B2B basis, and then on a B2C basis, using that content, that creation, getting paid for their rights, getting paid for the content being used in ads, and so much more. And pitching like a boss because of the IO tools and different things that I am using. And also along those lines, in the fractional CMO program, that is something that I go through with, setting up things on ClickUp, setting up the dashboard, setting up the B2B2C strategy, integrating the AI, integrating the IO tools to where your brain is literally going to be blown. And I say this, you guys, because part of my purpose is to create it like a boss. But I always think in terms of how can I free up time? How can I free up time for others? How can we scale this with automation and delegation, with AI, with IO? How can we create something in that space, right? So that is the things that you want to think about on exponential levels, so that it's not simply you thinking it all needs to be manual. And yes, I have a VA that I work with, but because now so much is being scaled with AI and IO tools, she literally has like 7 focal tasks every single month. And then now I just found another tool to increase the output of what she's going to be able to do and free up more of my time. Like I freed up some of my time with the initial implementation of Apollo.io. Then I'm freeing up more time by scaling it with a VA. So that's some of the things that you'll learn, whether you decide to jump in to the Build Your Brand with Influencers course, whether you decide to also jump into Create It Monthly, or maybe you want the fractional CMO and or influencer management. And stay tuned, you guys, because the Create It Summit is getting relaunched in June with a lot of amazing collaborative partners, June/July, that I'm really, really, really excited about. So that's going to start coming up. And so much more is happening. So much more is being created. So keep in mind that the actions we take are like compound interest in our money. It all adds up over time. Please, please, please leave a review on the show so I can shout you out. Tag me on social at Katrina Julia Fit, at Fit Life Creation, at Limitless Global Girl. That's also my channel on YouTube. And as always, friends, remember, create, transform, and inspire, because you are born to. I am so excited and honored to partner with Spotify for podcasters. Ever since I connected with Spotify for podcasters, I feel like having options like video podcasts and Q&A and polls has helped me be creative on a whole new level. And if you didn't know, I want to thank all of you for listening, because last year we reached top 100 in marketing. And some of the ways this was able to happen is because of the ability to have distribution on platforms like iTunes, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Castbox, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Stitcher, and more. Basically, everywhere and anywhere podcasts are in the world. I highly recommend you record your show on Spotify for podcasters. You can download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. If you want to make a podcast, Spotify's got this incredible platform to help you make one super easily and distribute it everywhere and anywhere, and even earn money all in one place for free. Yes, for free with Spotify for podcasters. And here is how it works at a glance. You can record and edit your podcast and your shows right from your phone or your computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you get to start creating it today, or like I like to say, #create it. Then you get to distribute it to Spotify and everywhere and anywhere podcasts are heard in the world. Video podcasts are also available. Plus, make sure you check out the different features that I mentioned earlier to get your fans, your friends, and your besties engaging in your show, like the Q&A and the polls, to get people talking. And one tip, I've extended several of my podcasts out to the end of the year, because that way you get people a chance to connect and create it. So share with me if you record your first and or your next show with Spotify for Podcasters. I would love to know. Tag me at Katrina Julia Fit, at Fit Life Creation. And speaking of connecting and creating a conversation, also leave a review on my show with your new show, and I will make sure and shout out your show as well. And definitely check out all the ways that I spotlight and feature and connect with creators on my show and collaborations as well. So let's create it.
All the things on faith, wellness, money, marketing, business, and travel, so you create a life and business already. Head on over to the blog, the podcast, and the freebies to jumpstart your transformation. If you're ready to dive into the online courses, the live events, or the retreat, and if you want to create with our community on an even deeper level, definitely check out our internships, our influencer collaborations, management, and brand engagement. Let's create it.